Okay, good morning and welcome to the Greenfield School Committee, our first executive committee subcommittee meeting. Looks like it's just the two of us. We're recording on Zoom. Elizabeth, are you recording for your own purposes?
No, I am not.
Okay, neither am I. We'll do a roll call. Elizabeth, are you here?
I'm here.
And I'm here, and Kate is running late, so we'll see if and when she joins us. Let's see, there doesn't seem to be anyone from the public here, so no public comment. So let me pull up our agenda. Got it. Oh, I thought I had it open. See it now. There it is. Okay. All right. So we're gonna suspend our normal rules of order and have a working session. So let's have a vote to suspend our normal rules of order. I'll make that motion. Elizabeth, will you second?
I will second.
Any discussion? All right, let's vote. I am a yes.
Aye.
And you're a yes. So that motion passes. So now we're in kind of a working session. Thank you
And I'm
so much.
taking notes and sort of minutes at the same time.
Okay, great. And we should have some staff support from administration to work from the recording to do the minutes as well. But whatever you could do as backup would be great.
I do, and Annie has been really helpful. It's really taken quite a burden off, and she's done great notes. So I'm really thankful.
Oh, excellent. That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, I spoke to her briefly today. She sounds great. I see a phone number has joined us. Is that you, Kate? You're muted so far.
Yes, this is Kate Martin. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, Kate.
Hi. I may hang up should the doctor that I'm waiting for walk into the room, but I will rejoin you if so after.
Great. And I think I forgot to say we probably convene the meeting right at 11:30, and Kate is joining us now at 11:33. Terrific. And we just suspended our normal rules of order so we can have our working session, Kate.
Great.
The first item is the school committee goals, and I'm very grateful to Elizabeth for drafting those for us. Let's see. But one approach I thought would be, well, I think it would be good for us to kind of look through them. I feel like some of the items on there may be operational things that I might be able to just make happen as chair, and other items would be goals that really require the full committee's attention. So I thought it might be useful to look through your list, Elizabeth, from that lens, just to see which ones we want to have be kind of official school committee goals that the committee deliberates about and decides upon as a group, and which ones are things that I can just do or someone else can do in an administrative capacity. So Kate, you don't have eyeballs on us, right?
No, I don't.
Okay. So then I think we should just talk through them one at a time.
So these were our brainstormed draft ideas that we did in Hyannis, and then a little bit with member Sexton too. So some of them are, it was really just a flow of ideas.
Yeah, great. I'm glad we're starting with a wonderful brainstorm. That's great. Thank you so much for doing that pre-work. It really helps not to be starting from nothing. So you had a student outcomes goal. Can you talk about what that is, Elizabeth?
What's a student outcomes goal? I think that one of the things that we were learning was that we needed to have a set goal on where we would want to be with the student outcomes in a certain amount of time. Like by this time next year, we want to see these outcomes be met, or these goals be met for student achievement, and then talk to the superintendent about it and all agree that these were benchmarks that we would want to meet, and then be able to sort of look at it as we go and see, are we progressing towards it? And I think that something like that occurs within the framework of the strategic plan, but I'm trying to remember exactly what we thought about that. Kate might remember more than I did, but one of the things we're just being really clear on benchmarks.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might have a little more faith in my memory than I do, but I think the consensus I have from prior committee meetings is that the committee would like to focus more in a more prioritized way on student outcomes and in a more organized way, and put student achievement more at the center of what we are doing. So I would like to see a committee goal related to that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I wonder if one place to start would be just to have, I mean, I don't think we need to go to the committee and say, do you want to have a goal about student achievement? That seems like a fairly obvious thing that we should be doing as a committee. I wonder if a place to start would be asking the superintendent to make a presentation to us. Where are we currently with regards to student outcomes and achievements? What goals do we currently have? And what role can or will the school committee play? How does that sound to you each?
It sounds really good. And I think that I was surprised that she sort of made one during the budget hearing. And I was so thankful that she did include that sort of where we are at slide.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that kind of encapsulates what a little bit of that goal. But it would be great to have it be regular and prioritized, like Kate said. Maybe, once a quarter we could receive a really in-depth information packet for that. I'm just throwing that out there as a way to slice the year.
I was going to say that, yes. It would be great to have a presentation brought forward on that. But as far as I recall, we've only had one, maybe two like that in my time on the committee, and I would like to see that be on a more regular basis, and also using data that is consistent so that we are comparing apples to apples. And I will rejoin you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see you.
So it seems like, oh, if it's just going to be something that's distributed in packets, maybe quarterly, but if we want kind of a full presentation on student achievement data, maybe that's something that we would want twice a year.
Sure. I really liked seeing, I really thought that the presentation in the budget hearing was really what we needed to be seeing more regularly, because if we are, if there is a downturn, that we're seeing using the consistent data, or if it's an upturn, that will affect the kind of oversight that we need to do.
Yeah.
And that will then potentially shift our priorities. If things are going great, maybe that means that we have a little bit of extra time and energy to focus on other things that are important. And if things are not going great, then we need to take a look at why. But to not know and then to just know randomly is kind of confusing.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And it would help when constituents talk to us and say, oh, things are terrible. Then we can point to it and say, well, actually, what we have been doing and fostering is this, and it's increasing in these metrics, or we can say, well, let's look at that.
Yeah.
It will help us be better cheerleaders for the district.
Right. Especially since we do seem to be headed in the right direction now.
Yeah.
All right, and we came out to discuss this with Christine at one of our meetings. Alrighty. Great. Let's talk about the next one. How come I'm having challenges? Get back there. I'm glad we suspended the normal rules of order so I can be a little bit challenged trying to find, I'm in the wrong, that's right, I'm in the wrong Google Drive altogether. Okay, let's go back.
Take
All
your
right.
time. Just going to write our notes.
All right. Open working sessions and open meeting law training and parliamentary procedures training. It seems like we're having a working session right now. We have a working session scheduled for around the superintendent evaluation training thing. I guess it's more of a training than a working session, but it will be eventually we'll have a working session on that topic. So I think that's kind of a format that we want to use as needed as we are achieving other goals. Does that sound right?
Yes, I think so. I think we've all been having some really good working sessions so far, and that the committee in general is open to doing that. I remember we wrote it down because back in May of 2023, when the mayor was censured, we voted on having an open meeting law training and a working session and starting that practice. And then that never happened. So I actually don't know if the committee feels like we need open meeting law training, but that was what we voted on as a remedy for the censure. So it's like a circle back. Like we said we were going to do it, but we didn't do it.
Well, it's interesting too, because Chair Proietti was the person who had made that complaint. And so the resolution to have an open meeting law training was to address her concern. And then she had the power to put it on the agenda and did not. So I guess she felt her concerns were addressed by some other means, because I never heard that she was dissatisfied with the committee's response to her complaint. But
yeah.
and so I'm not inclined to try to have an open meeting law training in reaction to a complaint that was filed by a member who has since resigned from the committee, but it may speak to how do we do a needs assessment of the current school committee and our professional development needs. I think we agreed that we would like training around superintendent evaluation, but are there other things? So maybe the goal is to develop a professional development plan for the committee.
Mm-hmm. I haven't heard anyone say that they feel uncomfortable with open meeting law.
No, I don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the few times that we've like bumped up against it, we've just sort of looked it up or talked about it and it's been fine. So nobody has said that they feel confused, but then maybe I don't think anyone feels uncomfortable about saying that they're confused if they are.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe a like a professional development survey on like what topics people feel like they need more training on. But there are trainings under MASC for open meeting law, like you could go and take it.
Yeah, completely. So I'm not worried about the open meeting law training. I have not heard that as a concern from people other than people who are no longer on the committee, because I think there was an open meeting law mistake, but anyway. Yeah, parliamentary procedure training, that's something I feel like I need or want. I'm not sure that the whole committee needs or wants that.
I would do, if you wanted to take some sort of course online or something, I would take it also. Maybe that's something that we could have the district pay for if it's a cost thing.
Yeah,
I don't see why we couldn't take a course online.
we could. I was looking for one and they all looked pretty bad. Like just we need to have we need to develop our own parliamentary procedure for hipsters, like something that would be more fun and engaging than some of these trainings. But if we can find a good one, I would love to take it.
I took the class at the conference in Hyannis, the parliamentary procedure one, and I put the notes up. And it kind of seemed like if you're really going to do it, you need a parliamentarian.
Mm.
You don't have a city parliamentarian on staff.
Right. Yeah.
If
Kathy
you're really,
Scott kind of plays that role for the city council.
yeah.
But, yeah.
So a lot of committees were talking about how they do suspend Robert's Rules of Order a lot, except for in the voting portion.
I see.
So, but it doesn't work for other committees because they're really large. There are some committees that are like 20 plus people and some committees that are our size or even smaller. And it doesn't end up being a problem if everyone is, able to raise their hands and, be really mature about the
Yeah.
discussion.
It seems like we've done okay. I feel a little bit like someone could come onto the committee who's very, very familiar with Robert's Rules of Order and really use those rules to advance their own interests. And the committee would not be very well prepared to handle that. So I feel like it's a potential vulnerability, but but it doesn't seem that parliamentary procedure has been our real problem for us.
It seems like we all know enough just to not get into trouble. Like we can go up it, like everything seems really smooth up until tabling and friendly amendments. We don't do them right, and haven't done them right since I've been on.
Okay.
But we never go further than that. Like we don't make amendments to amendments to amendments and then have to dig ourselves out. So
Right.
as long as we don't climb that mountain, but that we have the books, we can look on our handy dandy cards.
Yeah, those tools have not been useful to me. I did buy a copy of Robert's Rules for Dummies, but I haven't really made much headway in that book either. Does feel like I need something more interactive. So I don't know if you'd be willing to do a little search and see what you can find that might be useful training for us. And then
Okay, I'll put it on the list.
yeah, and then we could bring things back to the committee that seem like you're saying, like the places where we need to get stronger around Robert's rules, we can start to educate and implement those things. But I wonder, I don't know if Stacy's maxed out, but I wonder if they might be willing to take on as an individual project, drafting a tool to assess the committee's professional development needs. It seems like that would be in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, I bet they'd be really good at that. I just don't know how busy they are.
Yeah.
Do you want me to reach out to them or would you like to reach out?
If you'd be willing to, that'd be great.
Okay, so I'm going to search for parliamentary training and reach out to Stacy for I'm sorry, what were the words that you used again?
Professional development needs assessment.
Thank you. Professional development needs assessment. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The next thing is forensic audit, budget audit. Ask Jenny.
Jenny said to me several times that she might want to do a forensic audit. I have not heard anything back from that, but when she told me, I wrote it down in my notes as a potential goal. but I know that we need to learn more about the budget so that we can be better at asking questions. So do you think that we could engage Andy Paquette and see if he'd be willing to do like that might be a professional training to do? Do you think he'd be willing? I know he said the ball's in our court.
Yes. So, I mean, just for context, I think forensic audit means you're looking for potential crimes, or am I not understanding that term correctly?
Well, I don't know. Those are the words that she said. So those are the words that I wrote down, but maybe that's not what she was thinking. So we shouldn't assume.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. But I think what you're touching on is essentially another professional development need of the committee, which is around, I feel like there's two things. There's being able to read and understand our current budgets. And then there's also been the interest in having the budget presented in a way that is more user-friendly for more people. But yeah, so again, I think that would be part of the needs assessment. Maybe if Stacy agrees to take that on, maybe we would in particular have budget, open meeting law, Robert's rules as part of that needs assessment, find out how much people want each of those things.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that comment is probably entirely for Jenny, and I have no idea what she feels about that. So, but I know that
Okay.
even if we did something like that, how would we be able to read the budget in the first place unless we've taken that training, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. And then it says capital funding for textbooks.
That was something that Kate wanted to explore because there are some things that we can get capital funding for that we haven't, and textbooks and curricula is one of those things. So we can, when it's time to re-up all the textbooks, we can definitely ask the city to do that. We shouldn't have to take that out of the budget that has already been set. It can come from another place.
Yeah, and I think that that would be great. So the superintendent gets a rep to the capital planning committee, I believe. And that was Member Peretti. I did kind of flag that for Christine, as now that Member Peretti has resigned. What does that mean? So I can add textbooks and check in about her designee to capital planning to the agenda, to my list of topics to discuss with her.
How often does the capital planning committee meet? Do you know?
I think it meets like on an irregular frequency, like more often as they're getting ready to do the capital plan together, but I don't really know the details. I think I've asked the superintendent to report on that for us. Like maybe I should ask her just to explain that whole thing to us, and maybe the mayor.
Part of that then would go into the conversation in the future about having a budget calendar, because having a budget calendar that we all understand and that's aligned with the city will help us know when these dates are coming up, so that if we do have these kinds of capital requests like textbooks, or like let's talk about the elevator at Federal Street and other things, we know when to do it. because in the past we've said, oh, what about that one thing? But the meeting already happened, or, you know, the decision was already made and we were too late.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that's on your year-long plan item, right?
It might be, I'm sorry, it was so long ago that we did it, and we did it right before the election, and it was just a brain like flow. So I'm not sure,
Yeah,
and I apologize if it seems a mess.
that's fine. No, I really appreciate your messy notes here. It's really giving us a good place to start. So, but I think we're gonna when we can make a note to talk about that when we talk about the year-long agenda. All right, then we're on to item 3, which is committee goals with many items A through U on it. So it says ad hoc committee for handbook to be created in 6 months. We have a draft that's coming to us already, thanks to your
Yep.
leadership. Thank
Yep,
you.
we already did that. We can move that to the done column, I guess.
Yes.
Yay.
Make sure we are on all school PTO mailing lists so that we can attend events.
Mm-hmm.
Is that happening yet? I don't think so.
No, and we're hearing about it kind of secondhand, and I know that like we're trying to make an effort to go to events, like you did the band thing, and Stacy went to the play. So, but I'm often hearing about things late or secondhand, like I'm not getting emails, and I'd love to be able to attend the fundraisers, and you know, we can go out to one of the sports games. Like we should be representing and in attendance, at least one of us.
Yeah, be nice. Yeah, that'd be ideal.
Yeah, maybe we could rotate it so nobody feels like they're stuck going to the mall, or you know, maybe one has more interest in one than the other.
Yeah. All right, I could talk to Christine about that. Develop onboarding for new members.
That might be done because on the new website, all of that material that used to be sort of scattered is all in one place.
Yeah, I think it's been there for a while, the onboarding for new members part, but maybe you didn't get it when you came out. And I didn't do anything to onboard their new members, to be honest, this year, like even tell them where that stuff was on the website.
Well, when we first started and I looked on the website, there's there was a section underneath that said like new member materials. And so it gave you like where to go to get the training, but it seems like it's been beefed up. Like maybe somebody's collected all of the bits and pieces and put it in one place. It looks different now, but that could just be me. But
Yeah, I'm glad that it looks better now. I think I mean, we could discuss with the school committee whether we want to make that a priority goal, but I'd like to put it on the back burner, frankly. Not that it's not
yeah,
important, but just that there's a lot of other things where I'm going to make a little someday maybe list and put it on that.
that's a great idea. And I think we put that also in our uh, handbook draft.
Oh, did you? I was going to ask about that. Okay. There's something
I
in
think
there
it's
about
in one of our
onboarding.
content headers. So maybe
Okay.
that is handled. There's a lot of low hanging fruit on that list.
Kate has rejoined us at noon. Welcome back, Kate.
Yes, hello. Hi,
Hi there.
I'm back.
In just a sec, I'll give you a little review of what you missed.
Okay.
Adding to a someday maybe list, onboarding for new members program.
Okay. I'm just keeping myself muted whenever I'm not speaking because I am in Boston and it's loud.
Okay, just so you know, there's no noise on our end, but it's fine if you want to.
Okay. Oh, good.
So,
That's really
what you miss, let's see. I'm going to discuss the student outcomes goal with Christine, about getting reports and all that. Elizabeth's going to check with Stacy and see if she might be willing to do a professional development needs assessment of the school committee, like design one for us.
okay.
Because the second section is all about professional development stuff. And so basically, Elizabeth and I were both saying that we each personally would like more training in Robert's Rules of Order. We acknowledge that as a committee, we had voted to have open meeting law training, but it was in response to a complaint against a member, and both the complainer and the complainant aren't on the school committee anymore, and the training never happened. But maybe people will identify that as a need that they have. We were talking about the need to have Andy kind of give more of a training for folks in reading the budget, and also for the committee to have a discussion about what we would like in a budget to make it more user-friendly, and having Andy work with us on that. And then capital funding for textbooks. Elizabeth said that you had brought this up. And we basically, I think that the superintendent gets a designee to be put on to the capital planning committee. So it's on my list to check in again with Christine about that, because Amy, I believe Amy was the person that she had designated. And so now that Amy's not on the committee, is she designating someone else? And is that a place where that conversation can happen about the textbooks?
Right.
Anything else you want to add about the textbook issue, Kate?
No.
Okay. And yep, so the handbook ad hoc committee has already submitted their draft for the April meeting. I'm going to talk to Christine about seeing if we can get the school committee members included on all the school and PTO mailing lists. I just added develop onboarding for new members to a someday maybe list. And the next one says make a separate budget calendar and plot it into the main agenda. Or yeah, the main year-long agenda, I guess, basically. Kate, I'm wondering if, I don't know what your bandwidth is to have extra subcommittee meetings these days, but at some point, if you and the budget committee might want to work on looking at a year-long calendar for the budget for the school committee to have full participation in that.
Yes, I'm planning on doing that. I am trying to keep the budget subcommittee meetings in line with past kind of precedent on when those meetings take place during this season. So my intention is to have one in late April, and that would be part of that agenda.
Wonderful. Great. Have a summer retreat. Wow, just us?
Just us or others. We could do it with other districts if we make, good relations with other school committees. We could combine forces and money and have a retreat together, or MESC could offer a retreat as part of our membership dues.
Nice.
Maybe we bring a speaker out. Maybe we, I don't know. I don't know what we need.
Nice.
Perhaps that could be aligned to the Summer Institute with MASC.
Right, like, well, that's what I was kind of wondering is could the Summer Institute be the retreat? Is that what you mean, Kate?
Yeah, I was thinking we could try to do something in conjunction with that. The retreat itself has workshops only part of the days, those 2 days. So we could feasibly plan to do our own activities as an add-on, or even do something locally after the Institute and have whoever agrees to attend bring back their knowledge from said workshop.
And do you think this would be like a school committee meeting kind of thing, or is it more like in line with, for example, the advocacy training that we just had that's less like an official school committee meeting and more just a mask-oriented training, I guess?
Well, as I recall, when we were discussing this in the past, and it was a while ago now, the idea was to have the committee work on our own evaluation and action taking on that.
Oh, okay. So it would be first have a school committee self-evaluation and then have a workshop based on the needs identified in the evaluation.
Yes, and to have the ability to have an extended working session aimed at improving school committee dynamics and functioning.
Okay. Yep. Well, I feel overwhelmed thinking about it. It sounds like a great idea, but we can certainly include that as a goal to put forward to the school committee and see if folks want to take it on. Retreat. Alrighty. Let's see, where are we? Complete subcommittee goals list. We have that item as a separate item to go through. Discuss increased meeting possibilities for more bite-sized experience.
I think we're already doing that though. Like we're naturally doing it.
Yeah.
Like our main meetings are shorter, but we're having lots more other smaller meetings.
Yeah.
It was just an option because all of the committees around the state just do it differently. They do whatever works for them.
Yeah.
And we can do whatever works for us. And that was just one example. The other example was having a really big meeting, like a long one, and not voting on anything, and then coming back like a week later and just to have a voting meeting so that everyone has time to digest. Like they gave us different ideas of how it could go.
I love it. That's great. Yeah,
I agree
feel...
that that meetings are, I mean, we don't have that much in terms of instances to point to, but at least the last, most recent meetings have been pretty efficient, which is great. And I think there is a good amount of delegation going on in terms of subcommittees. So that's helpful. To Elizabeth's point, there have been issues in the past where I think members were expected to digest an issue and vote on it immediately, and also those instances didn't leave much room for public input or feedback because of that timing. And I have observed other committees' agendas in which an issue is brought up for discussion, but then voted on at a subsequent meeting, so that people have the ability to think about and consider all relevant information before they're expected to take an important position like that. So I don't know as that means I don't think that means there needs to be more meetings, but I do think that it would be helpful to have that layout kind of expected for important issues, not housekeeping type things, but
yeah, got it. So for example, the handbook item will be on the agenda for April. Maybe we could just have a meeting, the goal is a shared understanding of what the handbook is and says and does, and some preliminary feedback from people on it, and then maybe we vote on it in the May meeting. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I do feel like the consent agenda has been a really useful tool in getting through a lot of business more quickly. And we'll see, it seems like that means the primary innovation that's allowed meetings to progress more quickly. Although I think the other issue was that a lot of work was getting done on a pretty tight time frame ending in December. And then we kind of didn't, our major projects at that time, it seemed like were kind of had just been dealt with. So hiring a superintendent and approving the transition plan, the redistricting plan. But
Yeah, there was like there's a lot of talk about shifting our mindset about the year, and that we're on the school calendar, so our year should end in June. And like June should be the time that we finish our business, and then July we sort of take a meeting to really reflect. December is not, is only the end of the election year, the year where the numbers roll over, not when the work stops. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, although I think we're on a fiscal year, July through June calendar anyway, but yeah. Okay. Searchable policy manual. Yeah, I hope the superintendent's still able to make progress. I know she wanted to try to get it done in time for transitioning to Karen. At this point, that process will have been through, is it 4 superintendents? Jordana, Judy, Christine, and then Karen. So, and most committees get it done like within a year. I don't know what got hard for us, but I think partly it's maybe our size as a school district and the school committee, the school superintendents, needing to do this in addition to everything else they're already doing. But clickable agendas on the website, what does that refer to?
Wait, what? Read it again.
Clickable agendas on the website.
Oh, what was that, Kate? Was that some sort of idea of putting like there's something where you go to click on any business on the website and it makes you download it onto your device or onto your desktop. There's no way to just have it a viewable only thing. I think it was just like, I've heard from a lot of constituents that it's clogging up everyone's devices, clogs up my device. Like I didn't realize section I got downloaded 4 times. Like there should be like an easy readable, like it should immediately go to a digestible way to read this. It's a formatting thing, I
Right.
believe. What do you think, Kate?
I do not remember. Sorry.
That's fine. It does sound like it, yeah, it's that issue where you click on something and it's a PDF and on your phone it's just downloading it. And there should be a way, but I guess I can check with the superintendent about I don't know who manages our website or what platform it is and what other options they might have for us and how to present information. I know if you look at the wendellmass.us website, we have a really wonderful website platform now from Proud City, and I don't think it does do that. So try going to wendellmass.us to see what it does. All right. Yeah, okay, I could show you a little bit on my phone. It's kind of hard to see. But when you click on the meeting, it puts you into this format where you have an agenda and an agenda packet, and you can click on either, and then you get a preview of what it looks like, and then the option to download the agenda. So it's not just kind of automatically. Oh yeah, and I can even on my phone, I can zoom in and out. Really, it's really a platform issue, I think.
Yeah, being able to add it to your calendar, having like a calendar link
Yeah,
and
I have that. Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah. But I feel like the schools recently went through a website transition. Am I right about that? And yet we're
Yeah.
still not, it's not that great.
We like moved up a decade, but we're still very behind in some of the technological advances.
Yeah, like I'm surprised it doesn't seem to have like a meeting module. Well, let's see. Okay. Well, okay, here's something. I'll share my screen. This is kind of interesting. Um, all right, so normally if I'm going, oh, okay, I need to look at the executive committee agenda. I'm going to go up here to school committee. Is it an executive subcommittee? And then I get this list, and then I click this, and then it downloads. But there's this other place that I just found. Whoops. I just deleted that whole window. Okay. We'll redo that. Share my screen. So if you scroll down and down and down and down, eventually you come to upcoming events. And you can click on executive subcommittee meeting. And you get this. And then you can click here to view the agenda. Now, well, that's probably going to download it for you again. Oh, it just takes you to the executive committee page. But my point is that there's this whole meeting module thing that I wasn't even really aware of, and you can add
Oh, look,
items.
it has Google Calendar.
You can add items. So it just feels like where you have tools on the website that we're not using correctly. I can discuss that with the superintendent and see where we end up. So, stop my share.
Thank you for uncovering that.
Yes. All right. It's 12:20 and I want to move on. I want to talk briefly about the search. I want us to be done by 12:30. So would it be okay if we table the rest of the working session for another meeting?
Mhm.
Okay. And I guess one question I have is, I kind of feel like we did some good work today. I'd like us to I can maybe give a report to people on what we did today. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll do that at our April meeting. So people know the work is progressing and we could get people to kind of share some of their ideas about some of the goals that we identified for the committee. So, alrighty.
Yeah, I think that's good. I just want to say one other thing in terms of goals, and please stop me if you've already talked about this, but it just seems really important. Like if I were going to pick two goals, I would pick the one about student achievement, and the other one is that we have so many conversations about enrollment, and a lot of people have a lot of different ideas about what's behind enrollment, but we don't really know why people come or go in the district because there hasn't been a survey. We haven't really done any research into that. And I noticed that Mohawk has a really good school committee goal about this in terms of surveying people in order to identify why they enroll there or elsewhere or move on. And that would be my second choice. Like I said, if I were going to pick two goals for the committee to work on, if it were me, I don't know what other members would think about that, but it would be a top priority to me. So I wanted to mention that.
Do you feel like it'd be too crazy just to ask if they might be able to come to the meeting next week and talk to us a little bit about what they're doing?
Who?
Mohawk?
Mohawk.
Oh, oh, I don't know. I said hello to Martha, I think, from there, who was at the Day on the Hill training, and spoke to her very briefly about that goal of theirs, just to let her know I noticed, and I think it's admirable. Yeah, I have no idea how it's going for them, or how they're conducting their surveys, or trying to go about achieving that goal. But yeah, it would be great to have input from them.
Yeah.
I was going to send out an email probably in the next couple days, touching base with Mohawk and with Gil Montague and Pioneer, because they all expressed wanting to maybe join forces on getting to Day on the Hill, to just kind of see where they're at and let them know about the future Zoom meeting, which is on April 25th, I believe. And I can send a separate email to Martha and ask, unless somebody else wants to do that. I don't know if she could just come next week, but maybe she could come, if not May, then June or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably isn't urgent. Yeah, let's see if you don't mind putting out some feelers to her and see if she might be willing to come in and just tell us what they've been up to. That'd be great.
Okay.
Um,
Email to Mohawk about.
Okay, anything else on our working session on all these things before we move on to the school committee vacancy?
Oh, that's what you wanted to table the working session to discuss. I'm sorry, I didn't write
Yeah.
that down correctly.
Oh no, that's okay.
Okay, to discuss the vacancy. Okay.
Yeah, so basically we have I think we have 3 letters of interest, one from Melody Goodwin, one from Jesus Leva, is that his last name?
Mhm.
And one from Isaac Mass. I personally would like to have a much more robust pool of applicants. I wonder what you all think about whether we should possibly extend the deadline or even consider doing the appointment at our May meeting instead of our April meeting. Our policy doesn't really require us to do it on any particular time frame from what I could see in our policy.
I'm totally fine with having it be in May and extending it. I don't know if we'll get many others. I have my own feelings about what I hope that we can find in the applicants. And I don't know how you want to have the applicant discussion happen. I'm assuming in an executive session.
No, actually it happens in an open session.
Okay,
Yeah. In the
that's
past,
kind
that's
of
the other thing.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's awkward. That's how I
Right.
came on. I applied for an appointment to fulfill a vacancy, and they did actual interviews of us. I was thinking of skipping the interviews and doing a meet and greet from like 6 to 6:30 of whatever meeting it is where we decide to do it. And then at the meeting, allow people to make personal statements, but then just do the vote. Assume that school committee members have time if they want to reach out and have one-on-one conversations with people, but I don't feel a need to go through a performative interview process really.
So we should feel comfortable reaching out to the applicants and talking to them.
I think so, yeah. They're not on the
Okay.
committee, so you're not in it's only discussing with too many school committee members where it becomes an open meeting law issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I support that. If someone is interested in applying, they should take it upon themselves to talk to the members if they want to. And I think May is fine. I'm not attached to a timeline. I do think in terms of the number of applicants, it's the same issue that we have with a lot of other things, which is that people don't know. And so I would like to see about disseminating the information that there is a vacancy as effectively as possible. I would imagine there are people who might be interested if only they knew there was one. So I don't know what you think can be done to share that widely.
Yeah.
Could we do a city press release? Could we utilize the city, what's his name, Matthew McConaughey?
Maybe, yeah. I could talk to Christine about whether she could reach out and ask for the mayor's assistance in getting the word out on city channels.
We could make a flyer and put it on the Greenfield family groups. There are like 3 main groups where a lot of parents
Yeah.
talk about all the PTO issues, and there has been no chatter about the school committee vacancy at all. So I'm wondering if these parents who are really the most concerned and involved citizens, they don't even know. If they knew,
Yeah.
if we had a press release that was an image, we could post it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm a member of all of those groups. Not all of them are public, but I'd be happy to post it. Or you could post it, or someone.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's public information, so I don't think we need to, I don't know exactly how to think about it, but it seems like if any individual member wants to, take the information and format it and share it on social media and other groups, they should do that. And I can also talk to the superintendent about how to get the word out in newsletters and, parent updates and things that go out if it hasn't already. And we can just
The
beef up
news,
trying to broadcast the info. Yeah. Were you
I
gonna
think
say
the
something?
newsletters would be helpful. The
Yeah.
newsletters and the superintendent's update that goes out by email would be helpful. And in terms of posting it online, I don't know if when that press release is put out, if we could request that the recorder specifically put a post out online about that. They make a number of social media posts, but they don't post everything. So I don't know if that's an inquiry that could be made with them. Might be helpful.
You could talk to Buzz Eisenberg too, Glenn, and put out like just let him know, and maybe he could make a little radio blurb on his talk the talk about it.
Yeah, we could even pay, for a radio ad if we needed to. Sure there's a budget we could have for that. Okay, so it sounds like where there's consensus that doing some more public communication and extending the deadline might be worthwhile to see if we can reach more people who may not even know that there's a vacancy yet. Any objection to that?
I agree.
Okay.
No objection.
All right. We'll see, because I think we put out tomorrow as the deadline. But assuming we don't see a big influx of applications by then I think that may be the course that we take. So,
Sounds good.
all right. I would hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Kate and second by Elizabeth. Any discussion? Let's vote. Kate?
Yes.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, and we are adjourned at 12:33.